Hey, this is Matthew.
And this is Andrea.
And it's time for another unboxing review video. And we're back this time to take a look at a statue. And we're going to be looking at an Eaglemoss statue this time.
I don't know. I only know a little bit about Eaglemoss. What do you know about them?
Well, from what I know of Eaglemoss, I mainly know about them through their Star Trek ships. And I've seen them at Toy Fair, and I've covered them a lot at Toy Fair where I've looked at their ships usually. But they've also done Doctor Who chess pieces. Yes. I think at Comic-Con last year, they actually, near Comic-Con, they showed off figurines of characters from Valerian, from the Alien series, from Aliens vs. Predator, the Kenner figures. They've done Doctor Who. They've recently started doing Justice League and DC and Marvel characters. I'm personally a bigger fan of the ships than I am of their figures and their things based on humans. So we're going to see how things go today for them, because we're looking at this guy over here, which is the DC Universe Batman universe.
It's part of their collector's busts, and it is based off of Jim Lee's art from the Hush story arc.
Yes, from 2002. So it's pretty neat. I believe this is much like their other pieces. It is a subscription-based series, so I believe it's like once a month you get, I think it's either one or two. I don't remember what it is. For whatever that fee is, and it's like a little bit cheaper than just buying them one by one. And as part of that, you also get this over here, this nifty little magazine.
Which is really cool.
Yeah, so we'll open that in a bit, but I think let's get started first with the statue itself.
Okay, I'm gonna pop this bad boy open somehow.
Yeah, I think you can just flip it up and it'll just slide out.
Yeah, here we go.
And yeah,
nice and easy.
The box itself, nothing really to talk about. It's just the back and front.
Yeah, but I do like that. It's a good vehicle for showing this off.
It's nice and easy to keep it in the box. It's very collector-friendly packaging.
Yeah, I mean, the box, I will say it's great for if you want to just display it in the box. It's a really good... Ooh, look at that.
Yes.
That's nifty. Oh, okay, so I'm just going to start off right from the beginning. We'll talk about that in a second. Just real quick. This has some really nice weight to it.
Oh yeah, it's a little bit lighter than the Diamond Select ones we looked at not too long ago.
It doesn't feel that way, but
it's definitely lighter.
Okay.
It's still a nice weight though. Like it's still solid.
So before we go into it, the reason why I just made kind of a funny little face is a tiny piece of this broke off.
Yeah, that's from his
right here, right part of his glove. So, I mean, I'm sure we could probably find a glue of some sort to put it back on, but
it's just weird because it's basically never even left that package. So,
as far as we know, yeah.
Yeah, not off to necessarily a particularly positive start.
Yeah, that's okay. It's okay. Things happen. Let's talk about the rest of it.
Yeah, so I'm going to show you guys the back as well, so you can see the cape, which is really very nice. The flowing cape.
Cape is just the cape is insanely cool.
So as far as let's take a good look at the front, and we'll show you guys the front in a second. For me, I mean, I like the colors. I do like the utility belt especially. That part's really fun. The biggest problem I've seen with a lot of Eaglemoss's figural work is the paint job. It's usually pretty sloppy. I'd say this is not the worst culprit, but it's definitely still a culprit. Like, his face is kind of schmutzy.
Yeah.
There's even a dent on one side of the cheek. It's not a dimple.
Oh, I missed that.
A dent.
I missed that.
Oh,
snap. Yeah,
pretty big in the chin there. It's not a great job. Like, the lips are always a problem for them. And I've seen, usually it's a bigger problem when you can actually see their pupils. I've found those to be the worst because they're very sloppy paint jobs with the pupils. But since he has none, it doesn't look as bad.
Yeah. Oh, wait, take a look at his finger.
That finger?
Yeah. Does that look like a normal finger?
Nope. He has like an extra digit in his Batarang finger. It looks like.
It also looks like extra long.
Yeah, it's just a really weird looking finger. I mean, it's a little stylized, so I think all his fingers are kind of long. But it just looks extra weird here for some reason.
Yeah.
I think another weirdness too is like this right there. How it's not really quite fitting together.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Nicely.
I wasn't 100% sure if that was...
It's the same on that side too. It's might be a little tough for you guys to see it, but we can see it.
It looks like it wants to break off.
It's just a little sloppy. I mean, I don't think it will. It's just, it looks sloppy if you're looking at it from all sides. If you're just looking at it from this angle here, it's not a big deal. It's fine.
Yeah, but from our end, it looks almost... It's like a puzzle that just fits together, but looks a little loose.
Yeah.
Is really the best way I know how to describe it. I mean, but, okay, so that part aside, let's talk about the likeness real quick. What do you think? Like, I don't know how familiar you are with Jim Lee's Batman.
I think it's a good Batman. I don't really think it captured Jim Lee's Batman. I just think it's a good Batman. Like, had I not known it was Hush Batman, and that book told me it was from Hush Batman, I would have said it's just a nice looking Batman.
That's kind of how I feel too, because Jim Lee has a very distinct style.
Yeah, like you look at anything that DC Collectibles does with their statues and busts and toys, and like you see the Greg Capullo line, it looks like Greg Capullo.
Oh, yeah.
If you see, they've done Jim Lee figures, they look like Jim Lee's characters. This doesn't really say Jim Lee to me, but I still think it's a good Batman.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's a really good Batman. Yeah, there's no other way to put it. It's solid. It's just it doesn't scream Jim Lee, and I'm a big Jim Lee fan from his time in Marvel. So, like if I get something that has Jim Lee on it, where it says it's supposed to be after his art, I want it to look like Jim Lee's art, and I think that's probably my biggest issue with this. Even all the little technical stuff aside, not looking like Jim Lee's, like it's Jim Lee's, and claiming to be Jim Lee's is a problem for me.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say, I think this is definitely one of the better Eaglemoss statues, because they're doing a bust. When they do like the figurines, they're typically about the same height, but that's head to toe, and a lot of the detail gets lost because their paint jobs are very sloppy, in my opinion. This is not that bad.
No.
This is not that bad, and for what they cost, which I don't think is a lot either, I'd say it's actually not terrible what you get. You get what you pay for, and I think it's pretty fair.
Yeah.
But if you're really detail-oriented, you'll see a lot of the figure ones, I don't know. For me, I'm not a fan of them as much.
Yeah. I do want to say one thing that I am really liking about this, and we showed it, but I want to go back to it real quick. I like the movement in the cape. I think that is really nice. I mean, it feels like a real cape, with its different folds and the way that it swishes around.
Yeah, it's a very impressive cape. Same with the utility belt, too.
Yeah.
They got their fabrics down very well.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I would definitely say that they have the fabric. I like the Batarang. The Batarang, too, is pretty cool. Too. It's just the faces... again, it's a good Batman. It's not a great Batman because it's not a Jim Lee Batman.
No. So let's talk about the magazine that comes with, because each one of these, when you get the statue, also comes with a collector's magazine.
Yeah, so this is a little bit worn.
It's actually just the look of it. It's not...
Oh, really? Is that the look of it?
Yep, that's the look.
Oh, my bad. Because I can't always tell. But yeah, so this is actually a really cool thing. It says collector's bust, and inside it just gives kind of an overview of the different, versions and incarnations of Batman. It gives the history. It gives a brief Batman history, which is great, and I totally dig that, because with someone like Batman who's been around for forever, it's really easy to lose track of all the different incarnations. And again, Jim Lee. I mean, I don't know. You tell me. Looking at, since they're saying this is some of the Jim Lee stuff, it's not bad, but again, it just...
Nope. Not even close, actually, because
the
ears are pointy. That's the number one thing is, if you look at the Jim
Lee
Lee
those
Batmans,
are like old.
His ears are always pointy. This is small ears Batman. Mm-hmm. That's not Jim Lee Batman right there.
No.
It's not quite as angular as Jim Lee Batmans tend to be with their faces.
Jim Lee is very angular. He's very detailed. He's
also
great with his cross-hatching.
Yes, I mean, granted, you can't do that in a statue.
I know.
But what you can do is get the body proportions. This is a thin Batman, whereas Jim Lee's Batman is always pretty buff. He's very buff.
Yeah.
This is not buff Batman. This is kind
of... he's buff, but...
Look at that waist, though. That's not a Jim Lee waist.
No, not at all.
And definitely not his lats.
No.
That's what Jim Lee's all about, is those lat muscles. That was a 90s thing, having huge lats.
I love that about it.
Like, even this Robin here has big lats, so yeah.
That looks like Damian, yeah. No, sorry, that's Tim.
That's Tim.
That's
him in his other outfit. Yeah. He had a long pants outfit.
I keep forgetting it. It's been so long since I've seen a Robin in long pants.
Like, oh yeah. Like, looking at the pictures that are in this, in fact, like, you'll see, I'd say it's even closer to the Greg Capullo Batman, because it's got the tiny ears. It's a little tough to see in this one. But yeah, he's got the tiny ears, which Greg Capullo did. So that's kind of the biggest thing to me, is that if this is a Jim Lee Batman, it doesn't look like Jim Lee Batman.
No.
Ears, number one, just the face, and it's not reading as Batman.
But, like I said,
Jim Lee Batman, rather.
Yeah, this is just, okay, so the magazine itself, it's really cool. They reference Hush and that whole storyline, which, again, very cool storyline. You get the return of a certain something in front of you who don't know. I'm not going to spoil. But either get the comics or the lovely DC animated movie. It's not perfect, but it gives you all the information you need to know. And it shows who's coming up in their next issue, which in this case is the Joker,
which we don't have. But we do have Two-Face, so we may look at him. Probably not, though. I'll be honest with you guys. Like, the reason we're not going to probably talk about Two-Face for me is just because I think it's really bad. I gotta say, like, it's pretty hideous. I showed it to you. Normally, I don't really show you these things. I like you to be surprised and react.
His response was fugly. It's awful. Nope. there's a lot of negativity surrounding it.
It was pretty bad, and that's a great example of the eyes looking one way, and the other one looking another way, and just looking badly painted. Very sloppy paint job. I think this is the stronger one. I think really any of their DC busts that are just like the capes and the outfit and no pupils, you'll be good.
Yeah.
I've seen the Harley and a few of the other ones that they've done. They're spotty. If they keep things simple, which this is a pretty simple paint job, they're okay. They're decent. But once they start getting more complicated, like especially the Doctor Who from a few years ago, those were not that good. I didn't like any of the Who's. Like the aliens, if they were robotic, fine. If they had any kind of pupils or anything else going on.
It's almost sort of like the Funko reaction line, too.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
Because they were terrible as... The humans were terrible, but the other shapes were the humanoid-related things were just amazing. So yeah, no, I totally get it. And it's just... Oof. I want this to be better than it is.
Yeah.
I really do.
Granted, they are a pretty affordable line.
Yeah.
So you will get what you pay for. And you don't have to keep all of them. Get what you want, sell what you don't want, really. That's probably how I'd approach it.
I'd rather instead of saying that they're basing it off of a particular artist, I'd rather they just say, this is Batman.
Yeah.
This is Joker. Yeah, I don't want to hear that it's based off of someone like Jim Lee. I don't want to hear that or Capullo or anyone. Like, artists have distinct styles. So unless you're going to make sure it is really, up there with that artist, I don't want to, they got to be careful about that.
Yeah, that is the Eaglemoss Batman universe number one statue in the line of Batman himself. I'd say a 2.5 Batarangs out of 5.
Yeah, no, I'd be willing to go to 3. 3 Batarangs. I'm nicer than you.
Yeah, you are. So yeah, there you go, Eaglemoss. Again for me, I'd say stick with the ships and alien wings.
When it comes, from what I know of Eaglemoss and what I've seen, their ships are beautiful.
But if you are going to get any of the Batmans, stick with the guys who wear the cowls and you'll be good. So I'm Matthew.
I'm Andrea.
That's Batman from Eaglemoss, and we'll see you guys next time with some more reviews and unboxings.